Good morning, guys. Well, it's still morning here a little bit. It's 11:37 a.m. Hoodoo Standard Time. All right, March the 30th. And we're going to continue on in our High John the Conqueror series, or our John the Conqueror series. Old habits die hard. But anyway, I digress. Today, we're going to talk about the spirit of High John, how to work with it, and if you work with it. And I'm telling you that if you can work with High John the Conqueror, that's a trigger warning, because a lot of people are not going to like my answer. Okay. But sorry for the burp and the sniffles, guys. It is okay. Not my doggone CV-19 acting up. Outside here in Georgia, it is yellow. We've had Now I know why I was running a fever the last couple of days, because everything outside is yellow, covered in pollen, and the second highest pollen count in Atlanta history last few days. So that's what it was. Glad to hear that, my coronavirus wasn't acting up. But anyway, I know you guys are doggone, some of you getting stir crazy and whatnot. So we're gonna try our best to, keep things rolling here. So at the very least, this will be hopefully a bright spot, not too triggering, and to the at least a distraction on everything that's going on out there, guys. But stick to the rules. Only go out if you have to. Stay safe. If you're not feeling well, stay home. And practice your spirituality, man. Let's just get better at this thing. That's why we're talking about High John. Because like I said in previous videos, John the Conqueror, spirit and root, the most widely known in Hoodoo, and also the most misunderstood. So we're going to try to kind of dispel some myths about High John. Point of order, though, we have all the fast classes up on the site now, www.thebrokenones.org. All the fast classes are there, as well as the upcoming fast classes that will be going on at the end of this week. Intro to Hoodoo Part 2, as well as Love Spells, Love Magic. And since I talked about High John, in this series that I'm doing, we'll focus on using High John the Conqueror root for these spells. All right. I may get into using the spirit for these spells, this intro. But we'll see. But go ahead, and you can get into them individually, or we got the package deal there. Feel free to take advantage, guys, of the prayer requests over on our website in the members forum section. If you're not a member, go ahead and become one. Be sure and fill it out, because we approve each person individually. And if you just put, something and an email address, that's the easiest way to not get approved. All right. So there. Ask questions. Sometimes my wife and I post content, but a lot of times, we're here to answer your questions about these things. So put them there. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into John the Conqueror, the spirit. Now, remember I said that in order to understand John the Conqueror, you have got to understand Southern culture. A lot of books and blogs and videos and stuff being put out by people who you can tell they don't understand Southern, more importantly, Black Southern culture. So they apply logic to things, and they're able to say things that make perfect sense. Unless you're from here, then it sounds stupid, and that's the problem, right? So, and the easiest way to understand the spirit of High John the Conqueror, or John the Conqueror, is to hear the stories. See, we would tell stories about John or Jack, depending, right? And those stories always had a certain theme, certain tone, where, John was always put into like very, very tough situations, but he always got out. And it's not that he just got out of the situation. It always seemed to backfire on the plantation owner or a friend of the plantation owner, right? So when you hear these stories you see that, I mean, you see the spirit of the spirit, so to speak. He was here to uplift his people. He was here to assist us, and he was here to get over on. Now, remember, I said it wasn't just old master he got over on. It was a lot of times his. There's one story about his daughter. There's one story about his friends, stuff like that. So to understand that is to understand. Well, I'm just gonna go straight to the trigger warning. When working with the spirit, can people without African ancestry work with John the Conqueror, the spirit? Well, I say anything is possible, but most likely, no. No. Well, Prophet, why? Did you not hear what I said? Every John the Conqueror story I know is him getting over on the plantation owner or his friends, his kin, folks who look like him. And people will try to apply logic and stuff now, say, oh, well, everything has changed and we have changed. Spirits are infinite. They don't change. That is the thing that I want people to get it drilled into your head. Spirits are infinite. They're timeless. They don't change. They don't. That is why we are, and spiritual workers, chime in. We're having to deal with spirits now that, and we're talking about human spirits, totally different, that are still addicted to, like, say, alcohol or drugs or things like that, whacked out of their disincorporate minds still. And how do we know this is happening? Because of the responses we're getting, the way they're acting. And we know that, addiction transcends the physical need because, I mean, hell, even after, like, folks have quit smoking for 2 months, let them get into a rough situation and they start craving a cigarette. The physical need is gone, but it's still the psychological. And that is the part that, it turns in, it's there. It's the spirit, it's the mind. But when we're talking about something that was never human in the first place, and that's the thing, John the Conqueror, there's stories that he's been African prince, but nothing is verified. And, he's been around so long and he's never changed before. So people think that a spirit can all of a sudden, what I call it, just become beige, and that's okay. I know I used to, like, I hate your kind back then, but now y'all all right with me. You have to understand how John is about trickery. I gotta show you my finger. He's about trickery. He is about getting over on the non-African ancestral folks. Like the Hotepers say, the non-melanated. He is about uplifting, the native African ancestral people, us Black folks. And he's about winning. Point blank. Period. So with that being said, it is highly unlikely that if you have no tie to the African ancestors, that you can work with the spirit, John the Conqueror. Highly unlikely. I know there's going to be a lot of backlash. There's going to be a ton of people claiming that they've worked with them, and I get it. One of two things is happening. Either one, remember, John will get over. So he may show up, but in the long run, he ain't helping you. He's getting over. Or two, if you call out enough, something will answer. And spirits do lie. They do. They do lie. So you may have John, but he probably, like, Johnny Appleseed, not John the Conqueror. Which Johnny Appleseed might be somebody y'all can work with. But I digress. And there's also a lot of spiritual hypochondriatism going on where, I talk about a lot. People feel things, but just because you feel it, does that mean it's true? Does that, when High John is working for you, you just know. you know, but folks are like, oh no, because I did this and what did somebody, you know, and brother, I'm not talking about you, but I want to use the analogy that you and I spoke about yesterday. Um, you know, people have a window open because it's springtime, and a bee will fly in the window and land on their altar, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's Oshun! Look at Oshun, bless me." Speaking in tongues and shit. It could be, it could be, but could it also be that the bee flew in the open window and landed on your altar because you have a lot of fruit and honey and shit there? That could also be. And when you have like two perfectly logical explanations, it's not spirit. Spirit, there's only one explanation. That's it, right? Only one explanation. So we have, and so that's why we have to quantify the things and look at it and go, if there's another possible explanation, it's probably not spirit. All right, there. Now, but can you guys work with the root of High John? Yes. You can. Now, I know you know, folks like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I thought you said they were the same. They're the same, but they're different. All right. This is how. This is how they're the same, but they're different, right? Um, if I don't like you, is it possible that you can work with me? No. I don't care how much money you offer me, whatever. I'm not gonna do it if I don't like you. Okay? I'm not. I'm gonna fuck you up. But if I just donated blood and you were in a wreck, can my blood help you? Yes. Yes, it can. Oh, and it will. It will help you. You'll be like, doc, after I got that transfusion, damn, I felt awesome than a mug. I was drunk for 2 weeks, but I feel great. You see the difference? That blood is like infused with my building blocks, but it's not me. It's of me, but it's not me. Do you get it? So you guys can work with the root, even if you're not working with the spirit. And what are some of the plus and minuses of each? Okay, if you're working with High John the Spirit and he takes a liking to you, like we say down here, a cotton to you, well, you don't have to walk around with the root and the mojo bag and the oil and stuff. He's just gonna be with you most times, or check in on you at least. Um, Now the cons to that, well, you're gonna keep on having to set up this altar that I'm gonna talk about. Now, what are the pros and cons of the root? The pros are, just if you have it, you can work with it. Okay. The cons, you're gonna have to keep it on you. You're gonna have to think about it more. Um, see, I mean, it's not as automatic as when the spirit is like walking with you. All right. So, those are the pros and the cons. Actually, I want to tell you guys about the altar, but I totally forgot to bring the shit over here. So guess what? We just gonna talk about it. If you to attempt to work with the spirit of John the Conqueror, the altar is very simple, but it needs to be a place just for him. He's very particular about playing with other spirits. Very particular. Very particular. On his altar, are you going to put pictures? No. No. A picture of who? What? Don't think too hard. Because one of y'all was going to ask me that. But you will put a candle. Okay. You will put a High John root, of course. You will put a shot glass of whiskey, some dice, some cards, and straight razor or a knife, something like that. Okay, and you'll go there, you'll talk to him, ask that he come along this journey called life with you, and you'll know. It won't be my candle pop, so I think that was him. It won't be wait, the liquor is gone. Could that be? You'll know. Liquor disappears, alcohol evaporates. It does. All liquid evaporates, right? Of course, somebody's going to be in the chat. We're not such and such a 17. I don't know about certain things. But if you happen to fill that shot glass 3 times a day, well, chances are he's drinking that down. All right. You will know. I think that's it. I do want to tell you guys a story so I can keep these videos around the same time. Just to like drive it home about how John is. And this is a story that I've told before. Dr. Hazard told this story. Dr. Katrina Hazard. And I mean, it's funny, but it tells you the thinking of John the Conqueror, how he's always quick-witted. So, and this is not safe for work, those of you who are at work. So anyway, Old Massa, that's what the plantation owners always called in these stories. Old Massa was having, a little parlor party. Everybody was standing there or sitting in his parlor, smoking their pipes and cigars, drinking their mint juleps, and talking about how things were going in their individual plantations. And, Old Master said, well, things are going all right here, but it's just that doggone John, that slave I got named John. I just can't get him to mind. And they're like, what, you can't get him to mind? I mean, you beat him? And Master said, well, that's the thing. It's like he don't mind, but it's like he don't never say things to or do things to warrant a beating. It's like he can always talk his way out of it. Case in point, I ain't been able to get him to say yes, sir, or no, sir, or yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am, since he been here. And they were like, what? I don't understand that. Surely you smarter than, well, you know what they called him there. Surely you smarter than them. And Master was like, I thought so. And they, his friends said, you know what? Well, call him down here. Shoot. So they sent word to the fields for John. John came up. What's going on, boss? And Master winked at him like, watch this. That was a little cute. Like, watch this. Y'all see what I'm talking about. So he said, John, did you plant that corn out there? John said, and peas too. He said, John, did you doggone fix that fence over there in the south pasture? John said, and the gate too. At that point, everyone saw where it was going. They tried a few more times, each of them. Could nobody get him to say yes, sir, or no, sir? He always had an answer. But little did they know, Old Master's daughter, she's about 19, was listening in on this. And she figured out, I know a way to get him. So after they had tried and they got upset, they got mad, John went on about his business. And they were all huffing mad, but they said, you know what? You're right. I mean, you can't really whoop him. For not saying it because he had an answer for it. So Master's daughter walked up and said, Daddy, I bet you I can get that. And, she called him that too. I bet you I can get that John to say, yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am. And Master's like, well, what you got planned, baby girl? She said, I'm going to go upstairs. And in about 10 minutes, you send John up them steps to my room. Well, he that don't sound right, but okay. So sure enough, she went upstairs, got undressed, and walked into her little chamber room. They sent for John after 10 minutes and said, Master's daughter wants you up the steps. Okay, boss. He went up the steps, knocked on the door, and he heard, come in. So John let himself in, and out comes Master's daughter in like a house coat that she threw open, and she was naked as the day she was born. And she said, John, have you ever sucked a white woman's titty? And John said, and a pussy too. Needless to say, John went back out in the fields, but they never could get him to say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And that is the essence of John. John always got what he wanted. He always won, and it was always at the non-melanated people's expense. All right. there. Hopefully this helps. We are going to go into more stories next video. And anyway, guys, look, let's not overreact to this thing. Shoot, there's a lot of pollen out there. So if you got a cough, like I was, a little bit of cough, there might be a logical explanation for it. But when it's spirit, if it's a logical explanation, it may not be there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They don't really change all that much. Like I can't just be working with the spirit of the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, and he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I let all that go." We love to think that when we cross over, I let all that go. No, 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 no. Now I am good. I am clean. I am wholesome, and I love everyone like sweet Jesus intended. Man, they be angry, racist, loving drugs, wishing they can get drugs, and a lot of them get angry because y'all offering them the drugs and they can't. It's like, I don't have nostrils no more. Look, leave the logic alone. Use a little common sense, and you'll get far. Thank y'all for tuning in. Oh, I will tell you that. I will tell you guys this. Here's a little cheat code. I am on keen.com. That's www.keen. It's a site for like psychics and readers and stuff like that. If you go there, just search for Papaloo. You'll see my little logo. It'll pop up. And I'm doing readings there. And if I'm not currently logged on, because I do text readings on there also. If I'm not currently logged on, you can set an appointment and it pops me up, and then that way, if you just got a couple of questions and you don't want a full reading on the site, or you definitely don't want to pay my emergency reading price, that's one way to do it. And I generally respond to those chat readings, like within an hour once I get a notification that you've scheduled a call back or scheduled a chat or something like that. All right. So there we go, guys. Y'all have a good one. God bless. I'm going to enjoy some more coffee. I may go on a walk with Hoodoo Dog, but I don't know if I want to go out there. Divinely Appointed is out now. She's been gone a couple hours, but that's what happens. She goes out to get some cat food and then comes back with 84 bags. But that's my wife, and I love her. And you know what? We love y'all. So have a good one. God bless. I ran over because I'm trying to keep it at 15 minutes. My bad. Have a good one.